Hi, my name's Joanne Sparrow. This is my first slideshow. I particularly wanted to do this so that I could demonstrate the tapping points rather than you having to read instructions and work out where they are. It makes it so much easier. And also to explain how I got into tapping in the first place. So 3 years after my 5-year-old daughter had died, Rebecca Emily Rouse, I was so angry. And I didn't know what to do about it. I was taking out on my husband, on my best friend who was with me when Rebecca died. And then another friend came out to Turkey where I was living at the time on holiday. She worked in a hospice voluntarily and she threw a magazine across the floor and another therapist asked why she'd done that. And she couldn't even say the word snake, but she had a snake phobia. And there's a picture of a snake in the magazine, so she'd thrown it. And this other person was learning EFT. So she said, "Can I practice on you? Will you be a case study for me?" So she was telling me all about it and I was, wow, fascinated. So I ordered a book and someone very kindly brought it out to Turkey and I started to tap. Just literally holding the book up in my hand. Which you can see. See, I'm new to doing slideshows. I don't even know where to look. And I followed the instructions. But it said on a scale of 0 to 10, how bad is your pain? 10 being the worst. And I thought, 10? I'm off the scale. I'm more like a 25. But I tapped and I got it down to 4 and it felt fantastic. Oh, it just felt wonderful. But sadly, it came back because I'd not dealt with the actual issue. I don't want to put you off by saying that, but you do need professional help with some issues, but you can still get great results tapping on your own. This was deep emotional stuff. So I contacted the author of the book. He did training courses. And I said, I want to fly to England and have a therapy session. And he said, because you know the tapping points, we can do it over the phone. So this is like 2003. No Zoom then. This was Skype. So we did it on the phone. And he uncovered, I don't know if you could class it as a memory, a thought, a feeling, a thought, definitely. The medical profession made mistakes with my daughter, serious mistakes when she was in hospital. So much so that she was in heart failure and they wanted to operate on her bowels. And a few other things too. But I thought I was getting on with my life. I'd met my husband and married him and moved to a country, set up a new business. But feelings buried alive never die. There's a book of that name, by the way, and highly recommended. So there were still issues regarding my daughter's death that needed to be dealt with. I'd had some counselling, and counselling can be very beneficial, but definitely counselling with tapping would be so deep and profound, healing, life transforming, because the counselling that I had was just talking, just regurgitating everything. But when you tap and talk, something really profound happens, life transforming. Hence I went on to learn it. I was so passionate about it after this result on the phone. I couldn't believe it. And I flew to England to do courses. The first one was with a clinical psychologist and then a hypnotherapist. I kept doing more and more courses with people who knew it better. And to Gary Craig standard, he's the founder. So at first I downloaded his manual and then I watched DVDs of his. I seriously wanted to know as much about it as possible. And lots of people, even like, what's his name? Paul McKenna. Well, he's doing thought field therapy. So that came first and then EFT. The tapping points are the same. So he's done it for fears and phobias, I think. Might be wrong about that. But addictions, people use it for. But for me, I found it very beneficial for my grief. Grief covers a huge range of emotions. And we've got anxiety, and we've got stress, and we've got depression, and they do it's hard to say the difference between grief and depression, but there is a difference. But we can get stuck in our grief as well. And there's lots of different types of grief. I won't go into that. But we might have anticipatory grief because someone is terminally ill or they've got dementia. You lose them several times, don't you, with that diagnosis. It can be really painful. But it can be so much easier if you know how to tap. It is incredible. So I just want to show you the tapping points and you'll get huge benefits, even if you just use it for a headache. It works on physical things too. It's not just emotions, although it's called emotional freedom techniques. I remember when I first heard that name, I don't think it sells itself very well. I had a tooth abscess, absolute agony, and I tapped that away. It was about 90 minutes, I admit. It was just one session and I got rid of the pain. Another time I fell and hurt my arm so badly I couldn't even pick up a cup of tea. I couldn't brush my hair, clean my teeth with my right hand, which is my predominant hand as well. But I later found out that I'd actually chipped a bone. So when I was tapping, it was working on a much deeper level than I realised. I didn't go to hospital for 2 months. And that's when the doctor said if I'd gone in the first day it happened, he'd have pinned the bone back, but it was healing nicely. So that was good news. I persevered with the tapping because I believe in it. And it's over 20 years since I first learned and I'm still using it. And the scientific proof now, which helps because people can be quite dismissive, but it's acupuncture without the needles. And acupuncture has been around for thousands of years. It's just the Western world that is late in catching up. So now this is your chance, and I hope that you will benefit, and I hope that you will use it like I do. You'll be blown away by it, I'm sure. I hope so. So this is a diagram of all the tapping points, starting from the head, doing the face, the collarbone point, under the arm and finger points. But you don't need to memorise them because as the slideshow continues, I'm going to show you every tapping point, which makes it so much easier. Some people worry about missing a tapping point. What's important to remember is that the body works as an interconnected system. Even if you don't tap every single point, your intention and focus allow the process to work. Each point connects with a meridian in the body, and since there are 14 in total, tapping the full sequence of points on the head, face, body and fingers gives the best chance to reach the ones you need. Also, because you'll do more than one round of tapping, if you miss one point in one round, you can tap it on the next. The karate chop point is literally where someone would karate chop somebody or something on the side of the hand, between the little finger, the knuckle and the wrist. Doesn't matter which hand you use. And repeat your setup statement. So So you say the setup statement 3 times. The tapping on the head is quite simple, and rather than use 2 fingers, which I generally use for tapping the eyebrows and side of eyes, I use a few fingers and just move it around. It's on the crown of your head, and you tap there and say your reminder phrase, which could be something as simple as this anxious feeling. Next is the eyebrow point. Not quite so easy to do when you're wearing glasses, and it doesn't matter which side of the body you tap. Most tap with their predominant hand, but you could tap with your left and you could reach over to the other side. It really doesn't matter. But the eyebrow, for most, is where the eyebrow actually starts. But if you wanted an exact measurement, I'm going to talk in inches. So if you go to the middle of the nose, it's 1 inch approximately to the other side. So that's 2.54 centimetres. So because I'm wearing glasses, as I say, it's not so easy to tap. But generally, I use 2 fingers. So I don't have to be too concerned that I'm tapping on exactly the right spot. I'm using 2, I'm sure, to cover it. And the vibration will reach that point anyway. And the intention is powerful as well. I hope that helps. So the next tapping point is the side of the eye. And quite a lot of people get this wrong. It's not the temple. It truly isn't there. It's right in the corner. Be gentle. You can feel the bone there. And it doesn't matter if you tap on the right hand side or the left. And again, we're just going to repeat our phrase. This feeling, you could use both fingers at the same time. That's not my preference. I prefer just to do once. This anxious feeling. This feeling of being anxious, however you word it, it's important that the words resonate with you. Under the eye is quite straightforward, but again, I'm going to need to move my glasses out of the way. So it's level with your eyes if they're looking straight forward, and it's on your cheekbone. And again, I'm just using 2 fingers and tapping lightly. Could be the other side. And just repeat your reminder phrase, this anxious feeling, and whatever that means to you, where it is in the body, what does it feel like literally, what does it look like? Maybe it's fizzing, maybe it's stomach churning, and this is the stomach meridian. All the meridian points represent an organ. It's quite fascinating to know that, but we don't need to know it when we're just a beginner. And I don't know it without looking it up either. So this is a really simple one, under the nose. Couldn't get much straightforward than that, could you? It's literally under the nose. And your reminder phrase said at the same time, this anxious feeling. Whatever it is we're tapping on, it could be a headache, this pain at the back of my head, front of my head, side of my head, this throbbing, this thumping. However you describe it, it has to be your words. So the chin is quite straightforward, although you might be confused when I show you the tapping point is here. So we just want easy reminders. So rather than describe what that point is exactly, between the lip, bottom lip, and the chin, we just say chin, and it's there. Couldn't be any easier than that, could it? The collarbone point is possibly the most difficult for people to find. We've got a collarbone, I'll move it down a little bit so you can see, that joins the sternum, and then we've got 2 lumpy bits. Or just follow the sternum, where you'd fasten a tie. That's amazing. I don't know where that's come from. all the way down. Another thumbs up. Wow, something spooky is happening. And move an inch to the other side and tap. You could use the flat of your hand, a little bit lower, or thump, or tap. As I say, it's about an inch down from the U and an inch across. I can't get my hands to coordinate when I'm doing the video, so just give it a go. You're going to find the point for sure. I can't do it with this hand. That's really funny. I can't get them to meet and tap in the right place, but I look like I've got horns coming out my head. They're angel wings behind me. Laughter is the best medicine, isn't it? So under the arm is exactly what it says. You don't have to raise your arm as high as I am doing and you can't see. Just under the arm, use the flat of your hand. It's on the bra strap for ladies, 4 inches below the armpit. Gary Craig, the founder of EFT, he used to describe it as level with the nipple, but if I took my bra off, mine would be down by my waist, obviously. I'm exaggerating, but I find it very funny that he described it as that. Laughter's the best medicine, hey? So the finger points are quite easy too, and they're all the same. So if you bring your hand to your body, I'll just move the screen down a bit so you can see my actual hand. I'll hold it up in front of me. We're going to tap at the bottom of the nail base, but on the side, on every finger point. Base of the nail, and then on the side. Again, I usually use 2 fingers, but it could just be 1. And the first one we're doing is the thumb, and it can be either side. And if you ever forget, just squeeze. Squeeze the end near the base of the nail, and you know that you will reach the tapping point. And say the reminder phrase, this anxious feeling, or however it is now. It might have changed from when you started. So now we move on to the index finger. So as described before, if you can see, I don't know where I'm supposed to move. I'm going to hold it upside down and just say your reminder phrase, this anxious feeling or this stress. Maybe there's some pain, maybe there's an ache, maybe there's something you'd like to say, maybe you're anxious about an exam, something that's coming up, or you're stressed, frustrated, whatever the words are for you. It's just the index finger at the side. So now it's the middle finger, and just tap at the side whilst repeating your reminder phrase. This anxious feeling, this stress, this frustration. It's like telling your best friend every nitty-gritty detail. And the more points you tap, the more you remember. It's like peeling an onion. You might go back and say, oh, before that happened, this happened. They said this, they said that, slammed the door, spoke to me rudely, abruptly, whatever it is. And on the middle finger, just your reminder phrase. So now we come to the ring finger. So it's literally where someone would wear their wedding ring, engagement ring, and it doesn't matter which hand. Some countries wear their wedding ring on the right hand. In England, normally we do it on the left. And we're just going to tap at the side and say our reminder phrase, this anxious feeling. You might see some tapping diagrams where they miss this point out, and there's a reason for that. It's also known as the gamut point, and we could do that on the back of the hand, but I'll explain that separately. For me, I think it's much easier, rather than missing this point out, missing this finger out, it's just to tap on it anyway. this anxious feeling. And so we've reached the last tapping point. Our little finger, just going to tap on the side, whichever hand suits you. Repeating the reminder phrase, this anxious feeling, this anger, this frustration, this annoying person I work with or family member, whatever it is we're tapping about, you say how you feel, what you think. Now we've finished one round of tapping, I just wanted to explain a little bit about the gamut point, which I showed you is on your hand and on top. It's quite a complicated little tapping technique where we roll the eyes and say some phrases, we sing a little, we count. But it's on my website, Little Sparrows of Hope, under EFT, and then look for gamut point and it will explain it in more detail. I will add a video to my website to show you how it's done. But as a beginner, this is just an introductory tapping session. The most important thing is for you to know the tapping points. And then you can tap and talk and just tell your story. You won't know it like I know it. I've been doing it for over 20 years, but you'll still get some results. It's been scientifically proven to work, and it will help you to release some stress, to calm you down. And when you're calm, you can think clearly. So you can always disappear into the toilet, the bathroom, or if you're sitting at a desk, you're at work, you've got your hands underneath the desk, you can just be tapping, 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 tapping. You can't see my hands, but I've got them in my lap, just tapping. So you can do it very discreetly. You could have your hands behind your back. You can tap and walk and tap. So I walk and tap. It's very calming, very soothing, and you will feel so much better. Just 5 minutes of tapping is wonderful. Without Rebecca Emily Ralphs, there would be no tapping as far as I'm concerned. I didn't get into it until 3 years after she died. So I just want to acknowledge her and remember her and share her with you. So now you too have been touched by an angel. Thank you.